Hi, glad you could join us. I'm Annette Sherman. The name of the show is Community, and there's a very good reason that the name of the show is Community. Because, and I made some notes about that, the basic objective of this TV show is to stimulate awareness and appreciation of our community. Its remarkable institutions, its outstanding events, and its extraordinary people. Speaking about extraordinary people, before I go any further, let me introduce my extraordinary guest. Actually, I looked up the word incomparable because I wanted to use that, and I wanted to make sure of the definition. And I did make note of incomparable. I wanted to use it preceding his name when I introduced him. So I looked up the definition, and to be sure that the description of the word incomparable was what I wanted. And I looked it up, and the description of incomparable is beyond comparison. Incomparable, beyond comparison. My special guest today is incomparable, the incomparable Dr. Larry Thompson. And Larry is the CEO and the head of Ringling College of Art and Design. And Larry, how many years? 10 years, 11 years?
Oh, it's more than that. I am actually in my 20th year right now. My 20th year.
I think the last time you were on the show, it was only 9 or 10 years, but it hasn't been 10 years that you...
Since I've been here, no.
No,
I was
it
here about
hasn't been.
3 years ago, but
Okay.
yeah, yep.
I think that most of our folks, most of people in our community know, if not everything, they know a fair amount about you and the kind of person you are. They may not know much about your background because they don't, because we don't talk about it. We're going to do that now.
Okay.
How many years have you been head of Ringling?
In July, it'll be 20 years. It'll be my 20th anniversary, which is about 4 lifetimes of a college president. College presidents usually last about 5 years, so I've been very fortunate.
And very productive. I think you accomplish more in those years than anybody does in a lifetime, let alone just a meager 20 years that you've been here. But I'm figuring that what are you going to do now? Well, we'll talk about that at the end of the program.
Okay.
You're not trying to top what you've already done. It's just what you see is needed. Let's start with your background.
Okay.
Where were you born? Tell me a little bit about your family. You're not an artist.
No, I'm not an artist. I
don't
can't draw a stick figure.
say it with regret, because you nurture these artists, and you actually fathered almost. It would be an appropriate word, not literally, but in terms of providing a fabulous understanding for their education and learning, opportunities for them. Wonderful utilization of our community. Mm-hmm. There's something else that I think is important in the introduction portion of the program. Larry Thompson was one of our Community Video Archive honorees. It was last year or the year before.
No, it was a few years ago.
It was
a number
years
of
ago.
years ago, yeah.
And with that honor, we professionally produce his life story. This year, when our board met and we talked about the possible selections there are only four honorees each year. And usually, but not all the time, 2 men and 2 women. The board meeting, we discussed various people because I brought a whole roster of names for the board to vote on. And someone who will remain nameless said, "How about Larry Thompson?" I said, "Well, you're not watching our information." Larry has already had his life story professionally produced, and it can be gotten at every Sarasota County library, the Library of Congress, and that's wonderful. The Library of Congress sorts it, cares for it. And being in the Library of Congress is tantamount to living forever. But it is the first issue, if you will, of Larry Thompson's life story is in the Library of Congress. And this individual, who will remain nameless, said, how about we do a Dr. Larry Thompson continued? Because what he has done in the time between the last, it wasn't last year, was it? It was the year before.
No, it was a few years ago.
A few years ago.
Yeah.
In those few years, if we're true historians, and that's what we want to be predominantly when we're talking about the Community Video Archives Hall of Fame, we are recording living history. And he said, this individual who's on our board, what about doing a Dr. Larry Thompson continued? I said, then we're going to have to do one every year. No, he said, we'll just catch up with Larry, and then we'll see what happens from there. We've never done it before. We've never come back. If someone is honored by being accepted into the Hall of Fame, the Community Video Archives Hall of Fame, that's it.
Right.
And
right.
some people have really gone on to do additional things that were merit worthy of this kind of honor. But we thought that what you have done is beyond worthy. It was something that you needed to be acknowledged for. We need to have that portion of your life, that portion of what you created in our Hall of Fame, so that it can be gotten, can be looked at by generations to come, by our contemporary people as well. But how wonderful it will be for future generations to say, how did that building get here? That's another Larry Thompson building? Oh, yeah. And how about those 4 buildings over there? Larry Thompson. Well, I'm glad they have the story in the Community Video Archives, and it will be finished at the end for our luncheon, which is April the 26th. And mark it down, because it's going to be sold out again. It's sold out every year, but when Larry Thompson is heading one of the honorees, I think the people in our community realize this is a special person in our community, and he's making our what would you like to see have happen in our community as a totality of your of what you're doing?
Of our of the entire community.
We're going to jump ahead and then we'll go back.
Okay, fine. So so a couple of things. Number one, sort of the vision I've sort of had here at the Ringling College of Art and Design has for it to become the preeminent art and design college in the world. And we are on a very, very fast track to get there. We're among the very, very top art and design colleges in the country, but it's not quite at the preeminence. We're not the absolute pinnacle, but we are on the way because we are at the cutting edge of what is going on. But then for the community at large, one of the things that this community really has, that it makes it so unique, is first of all, it's arts and culture, and secondly, it's creativity. So I would really like to see this community embrace the idea of creativity being what the future is going to embrace, because it's going to be needed. So I'm seeing this community becoming like a creative epicenter for the Southeast and then hopefully even the country. And to make it something very, very unique, because it all emanates from the arts and culture that's the base here. But to add to that, when you look at what we're doing in medicine, you look at Volt, you look at some of the new companies that we have coming in here. I mean, this is a very, very creative place, and that is going to be the essence of what the future is going to behold.
Remember, you heard it here. Remember it so much here, but from Dr. Larry Thompson. And we were talking about we looked at some pictures, and that's what we're going to do next, show you some pictures. We have a lot of pictures, and I want to talk about your youth and your background, maybe very briefly. In fact, let's do that now, because, yeah,
All right.
tell about your family and how this all came about.
So I'll be very brief. So I grew up around Dayton, Ohio. So I'm one of those Midwesterners coming down I-75 to Sarasota. And I grew up in Dayton, Ohio. My parents both worked for General Motors.
Were what?
Worked for General Motors. My father worked for General Motors for 42 years, and he was a purchasing agent, and my mother was a nurse who worked part-time for General Motors as an industrial nurse.
Neither one of them terribly artistic?
Neither one of them artistic whatsoever, okay? Whatsoever, including myself. I'm not even.
Are you an only child?
No, my brother was a doctor. Unfortunately, he passed away a few years ago, but he was a doctor, and I became a lawyer. Okay? So,
So your
I am
training
a lawyer,
was to a lawyer, okay.
but I'm recovering. I'm in the 12-step program for recovering lawyers. So, so yes, I practiced law for a number of years, and then I became special assistant to the president of Ohio State and worked there and did general counsel work, and then I also did management troubleshooting. But the thing that really changed my life was getting a call from a headhunter one day who was looking for someone to put together the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Ohio.
Get out.
And so I
Did
got
you
this call.
have any interest in rock and roll?
Well, I enjoyed it. I grew up, you know, I'm a baby boomer, so that was my music and still is my music. But it was like such an intriguing idea. It didn't exist. It was just an idea. And so anyway, I ended up being recruited there and taking the job and putting the whole Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that exists in Cleveland together, working with I.M. Pei, who was the architect, working with the exhibit designers to make the whole thing happen. Had to raise all the money.
The trouble is, Larry, that we've got so much to tell, and we've only got 15 minutes left
Okay.
in this program. So the background was interesting, and I sort of remembered much of it. No art in your background, no art at all, but that isn't necessary. You're not the artist, you're the administrator. You're the one that provides the opportunity for artists and the learning experience for artists. That's your job, and you're doing it beautifully.
So, you know, the thing is, I love what artists do, but I can't do it myself. I just do not have that ability. But I love their creativity. I love how they express themselves. And it's one of those things where it needs somebody to help keep them going in a similar direction. You don't want to force them into a straight line, but you want to try to have them move in a certain direction. And that's the administrative skill.
Now, what has happened with Ringling College this past, when did you start this project?
So I began at Ringling College in 1999. So,
But you didn't start this project that we're involved in now of the expansion into
No.
motion pictures and so forth, and what you're doing with the motion picture industry and Sarasota.
right. So one of the things was we were trying to find a way to help grow the institution, because when I came it was about 800 students, and now it's almost 1,600, so it's almost doubled in size. But one of the ways was to diversify the curriculum. So we added brand new majors, and one of the majors we added was film. So that was about 10 or 11 years ago that we added the film program. It was the same time we added game art, the business of art and design, motion design, etc. The film program, however, there's a lot of film schools. So we wanted to make it unique, and we did that by bringing professionals in the filmmaking world to Ringling, to expose them to Ringling and the creativity of our students so that they could get to know what it is that we were teaching and what we were doing. To make a long story short, it's been very successful. We just were ranked by Hollywood Reporter as one of the top 15 film schools in the United States. And what's even more important is we are the only undergraduate school that's listed there. The others are graduate programs in film. Ours is an undergraduate program.
So it in effect is saying that what you're teaching, what Ringling College of Art and Design is teaching now, is probably equivalent to
To a graduate degree.
to a graduate program,
right.
which is, again, another honor for Dr. Larry Thompson. Now, I know you don't care about the honors. You don't care about
Well, that's not me. I've got
No,
a lot
it
of
isn't.
people
It
who
isn't.
make all
Let's
that happen.
get
yeah.
what you're saying and what you feel like saying. I want to get on with my work, and you want to get on with what you're doing and continue and enlarge it and make it even better. But what has happened? There have been so many, and there's a list of things here that I saw that your lovely new assistant prepared for us, and. You should say your lovely new assistant's name.
Raylan Lincoln. Yes.
Okay, because it piqued their curiosity. Who is your lovely new assistant? Okay, and there's so many things here. Increase in the number of buildings and students. Do you know all that by heart, or?
I know it pretty well. Yes, there've been a number of new buildings. Just even in the last like 3 or 4 years, there have been 5 new buildings, and we're also going to be building and opening the, not building, we're going to be opening the historic Sarasota High School with the Sarasota Museum of Art, and that's going to take place in December of next year, of 2019.
I'm going to suggest that those of you out there who are, for whatever reason, one reason might be that you want to open your checkbook and you want to be part of this. You want to have something that you had a hand in or helped with, and that's fine, because although Larry is the kind of man, when he says he's going to do something, you can take it to the bank, and this is one of the important reasons that he has received the subsidies that he has, the support that he has money-wise, and he will receive a lot more. So let's put that number on the screen, please, Damon, that people can call, and the website that people can get in touch with, not only if you would like to make a donation, but a contribution, but if you'd like more information, if there's something you think you want to find out at this point. The people at Ringling are just wonderful. They are as excited about it as their CEO, and we are in our community. So help us with this. Help us to get to be part of you. Get to be part of what we're doing. I say we're doing because I love what's happening. I love what's happening to Ringling College, and I love what's happening to our community.
Well, one of the things I think it's important is when people think of an art school, they often think of what would be a traditional art school with easels and paint on the floor,
Which
and
is fine.
models, and we have that. I mean, that's a part of who we are. But the thing about Ringling is we also have what is going on currently and in the future. So for example, we just started a new major in virtual reality. Okay? We're the first art school to do that. And to have this brand new program that is just at the very, very beginning stages, and to be teaching our students how to create content.
How to
for
what?
That, how to create content for that, for what will be needed in virtual reality. That's the kind of college that we are. We are the most technologically advanced art college anywhere in the world.
You have students from literally all over the world.
Literally.
And that's increasing every
Yes.
year. You get more students from unusual places becoming part of your student body.
Yes, it's about 60 different countries, and now it's about 20% of our student body, our international
And other
students.
schools that have, in the past, attracted students from all over the world find that that all over the world student is not as growing a statistic, but
No, actually,
Ringling-
it's declining for most colleges. With us, it continues to grow because our reputation continues to grow.
Okay. I think that it might be interesting. I'm sure there's an opportunity. Don't call Larry because he's got other things to do, and he's doing them, and importantly so. But if you do want to see the college and the campus and so forth, call the number that we're going to put on the screen now, and they will tell you how to do that and how to get there and how to function in terms of an observer.
And we have tours that we actually give. So it really works when people see what it is that we are doing. So we have that opportunity for people to really understand.
Okay, I should have known. There's the number on the screen. I can't see it from here, 5100, what is it, 351? What does it say?
It's 351-5100.
Okay, 351-5100. And we have all those pictures that we need to see, we want to see. Okay, make note of the number. Call Ringling, say, I'd like to get a tour, tell me when it is, and so forth and so on. We want everyone in our community to be aware of what's happening at our incredible Ringling College of Art and Design under the supervision of the gentleman who is my guest, my incomparable guest. Okay, we have a lot of pictures. We'll go fast on them so we can get them all. Larry, the pictures will come up. Tell us what we see.
So that's what Ringling College was back in the early days in
But
1931.
That ain't bad. It's a lovely looking school.
No, it was a foreclosed hotel, so that's how it all began. And my office is in that building, actually, as a matter of fact.
Okay,
Right.
next picture. Beautiful picture.
So that's the brand new library, the Alfred Goldstein Library.
Oh, is that beautiful?
Yeah,
Oh, what?
It is the library of the future. So
Oh,
it
it's
is
just
gorgeous.
gorgeous, Larry.
I know. And then we have here, it's the Richard and Barbara Bash Visual Arts Center, which is a making space, which has glass blowing, and it has printmaking, and it has a great gallery for different exhibitions that we have. So, and here, this is a whole complex for film, 2 sound stages and a post-production facility. And we just opened the post-production facility, which is that one there. Just
Larry,
opened it about 3 weeks ago.
The support for this, the underwriting for all of these things, came exclusively from our community?
It basically came from our community. That's correct.
Yes.
That's right. Yep.
Okay, we've got 5. Is that gorgeous? What is that?
Okay, so that is one of the things that's unique about the college as an art school is the fact 75% of our students live on campus. And this is a brand new residence hall.
Beautiful.
That
And you
we
need it. You
just
need
built,
it. Absolutely. Okay.
Which is very exciting. And then this is the building I talked about earlier involving the historic Sarasota High School, which I'm certain everybody knows where that is. If they don't, I want to know where they drive in Sarasota. But right on 41, the most visible location. That we have totally changed, and now we're creating, as part of that, the Sarasota Museum of Art, and it will be a place for continuing studies and lifelong learning. So
Okay,
it'll be
you
an
still have the
amazing place.
collaboratory.
We have a collaboratory. A collaboratory is all about our students being able to work on real-world projects with real-world clients. So they get to know what is happening in the world today, be able to get experience, be able to get references.
To work in the world
and
today.
what it really does feel like. Exactly.
Okay. Incredible, incredible, incredible. But it isn't incredible. It is credible because it's real. And my guest today is, and he's a modest man, but he has to realize that we want to thank you, Dr. Larry Thompson, for getting it all done. And I don't think, with all the people that I know in this community, with the due respect to those people, I think that you probably had whatever the qualities were, the integrity, the honesty, the temerity, all of the things that are necessary for people to say, here's some money that I want to help you with, and give you an outstanding sum of money.
And we have had major donors who have really given to the institution and to benefit our students and to help with these new buildings and to really bring Ringling College so it will become the preeminent art and design college.
It absolutely will, and you will continue to work as hard as you normally do to see to it, and so we'll have to meet again.
We'll have to meet again.
And bring people up to speed. Meanwhile, you can bring yourself up to speed if you make that phone call or speak to the people at Ringling College and say, I'd like to get one of those tours. When can I do that? And they'll be very helpful, and they will see to it that you get one of those tours. And after you get the tours, bring your checkbook along. No, because you'll want to. You'll want to be part of it. And you can be. It's still time. There's still things that need to be created. There's still things that need to be done. How many students do you have now for the school?
We now have almost 1,600 students. 1,600 students. Now, it's not, huge, but it's
It's
it
huge
is-
because what was it before?
it was 800 before. So
You doubled your
yeah,
amount.
right, exactly.
All
And
right,
they
now
are
you're
incredible.
building additional places for people, for your students to live in,
Right.
housing for them. It's not really housing. It's what is it called?
Yeah, it's residence halls. It's
Okay.
housing. Yeah.
And there will be new students that come in because of the opportunity to do filming, to do film work. And you have had students at this point who have had very successful films, whether they're short films or whether they're longer films. So it's catching on. People want to do it. They want to be part of it. We have to change the name of Sarasota probably eventually. Maybe Sarahhood or Holly Sarah.
Exactly.
Sarah Holly or something like that. But it's only what's in a name.
What's in a
Shakespeare said
name? You don't
long
need to change
time
that.
ago.
I love Sarasota, so you don't need to change that, but it will become a film capital for the Southeast.
Would you believe we only have less than 1 minute left?
I can believe that.
It's hard to believe. It just went so quickly. Thank you, Larry Thompson.
Thank you, Annette. You've been
Thank
just
you
such a
for-
wonderful member of this community.
But-
And thank you for this wonderful, unique honor. I'm really, really humbled by it. I really appreciate it very
Well,
much.
it has to be done. It's part of history that you're creating, and we're so grateful that we have Larry Thompson to do all that wonderful creative work for us, for our community, and for the artists of the future.
Well, it's because this community is so special and has helped
I
support
agree
it.
with you. I agree with you. Thank you, Larry. Thank you
you.
for coming and spending time with us.
Thank you.
We're about out of time. We just have a very few moments. Let's check out Ringling College of Art.
The time really flew. We bid you adieu from community. If you want to know why we love it here, so check out community. Well, it's a who's who, a what's, when, and where show. It's a mover and shakers who care a show. Meet your neighbors